This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFLTV. Delighted to be joined always, as always, by Mr. Peter Fury.
Good to speak to
Mate,
you, Kugan. Yeah, it's been when was last time? It was a good few weeks ago, wasn't it?
just in the middle of the Olympics, it was. Yeah, we had a little chat then, um, which we're not going to go into now. We don't need to. We've already done that part.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, and everyone had their kind of views and stuff. But how are you keeping, Peter?
yeah. Not too bad. Just getting on with live Kugan training and stuff with a few fighters I'm working with. Just busy with that, really.
Hmm. So obviously your boy Hughie's in action, not too far away, couple of weeks away. Uh,
Yeah, 27th, Sheffield on the GBM show. That'll be good.
yeah,
Looking forward to that.
okay. Um, I mean, listen, we obviously speak about Hughie all the time, whenever we speak, etc. But yeah, I mean, it hopefully, obviously, gets his fight out of the way. But you're looking for big fights. We know Hughie's been in big fights anyway, all the way through his career, and people forget that sometimes as well. But
Yeah,
you're at a point now where like he needs to be active, but also you want him in with whatever the best opponent available is.
yeah. Listen, let's get this one out of the way. We got this big giant to deal with, and after then we see anybody really, anybody we can get as anybody that's going to help him climb the ladder. So, what did he say? When you've been out a while and you've got to build yourself back up, you can't pick and choose. So, any fights that's available out there, he'll be taking them.
He's never picked and chosen anyway, has he? Like you look at kind of the fights and the people that are on his resume, whether he's won or lost them, but you've
Yeah,
always put
well,
him in with the right opponents, which you believe was kind of beneficial to his career.
exactly, Kugan. But the thing is this. With Hughie being out such a long time, and I think he's with the rankings now where they are with him and stuff like that. So what you got to look at, it's all right calling these names, but what's in it for them? So there's nothing in it for them at the minute. So somebody who's in the top 10, they don't want to risk that position and fight Hughie because one, the money ain't there. So why are they going to risk that position? They want to be in big fights. So he's got to get himself back there, and he's got to earn his position um, by taking on who he can get. So there's a lot of good fighters out there that's come up short in decisions. So they're the type of fights that he can get because they've got to come back as well. So these are the type of fights where if you're looking big names, the likes of Zhang and all of these in that circle and few names there is in the heavyweights, is that you can shout from the rooftops, but it's a business for them. We understand. But he's on his way back, and let's get this fight out of the way. And then we've been promised a good, solid fight for him in the end of November.
Is he frustrated at all, Peter Hughie, over the last year, or not?
Um, Not really, because he's been training, he's been coming back, and he's been in the gym, constantly working away. So he's just happy to be out regular. This is his third fight back. But after this fight, he does want a big fight. He wants somebody at least in the top 15 in November.
Mm.
And then all being well with that, it sets him up for 25 because he's back in hovering around the top 10. So then fight should happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But job first is obviously to get through the opponent end of September,
Yeah,
and
exactly. You can't overlook anybody, especially a big guy with knockout ratios and big punches and stuff. They all take beating, so he's focused on that at the minute.
okay. Who else you working with right now, currently, Peter?
Um, well, at the moment, I've got Matty Harris. He's in the gym all the time. He fights on the 25th of October on a Wasserman show. He's on. Yeah, I think that could be in Bolton again. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but he's on. So we've got him. He's in the gym at the moment, and yeah, they're the two dates that we're working on at the minute. So I've just got Hughie and Matty Harris.
Yeah, Matty Harris obviously suffered a slight setback. Obviously, whenever that was, not too long ago, but he's someone that you see potential in, Peter?
Yeah, he's a big heavyweight, got plenty of natural talent there. He's young, isn't he? He's a young heavyweight. He only had 7 amateur fights, so it's just steady with him. Keep him active, keep him busy, and steadily improvements all the time.
Mm. I said you don't work with too many people, but I always take notice when you do work with someone that you've seen something, like I said, whether it's in training or sparring or etc., that you think that you can kind of work round and not mould, but you know what I mean, kind of
Yeah,
a
I think
little bit raw.
within a young heavyweight, there's always obstacles. There's always things in the way, and you've got to get through to them in a way. So they've got to be built mentally and physically. It's a hard sport. You get how many young heavyweights sing from the rooftops, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they don't really make it anywhere. Fighters has got to be built properly, and it takes time. And time is something which is especially heavyweights. And young Matt, he's 24, so he's yeah, for what I'm seeing so far, it's good. He's got a lot of potential. He's a good fighter, but there's still a lot more to come. So it's a long process.
Absolutely. Um, we know obviously next week, which is edging closer, and I've spoken to you about this in the past. But AJ-DUBOIS, yeah, I mean, as it gets closer, Peter, are you still feeling the same thoughts as you did kind of say 4 weeks ago when I spoke to you about this?
Yeah, but I fancy AJ just for the experience and but the first one who lands, isn't it? Both big punches. You know, he's coming off the better form, isn't he? Dubois, he's fought two. He's got good rounds in, and he's fought two good opponents back to back. Where AJ's just dismissed these. He's got them out of there in quick fashion, which is how you want to look at it. But for the sheer experience, the quickness as well, and it's a gunsling, isn't it? So it's who gets it on the button the first. But whoever it's who, will be a problem. So it's anybody's in that regard. But I just feel just on the experience side of it, I just see in the maturity of it, I think AJ probably he should come away with it.
A lot of people have been talking about, obviously, Dubois was elevated to full IBF champion, the belt that was stripped from Alexander Usyk recently, that the winner of this fight can't really call them like a legitimate champion because of the situation with Alexander Usyk being or was undisputed after beating Tyson Fury. But I
Yeah,
mean, we've seen these situations in boxing where belts, become vacant, etc., and fighters are in this situation. Um, but yeah, there's been a few people, Carl Froch, etc., that have said that whoever wins this can't call themselves a world champion unless they beat Usyk.
I can see that point because it's one champion, but there's more than one belt out there, so it's not really. It is what it is, but there's belts out there, world title belts, and I think it's a worthy world championship. Why not? Because look, Daniel Dubois fought Usyk. He gave Usyk a good run for his money, didn't he?
Mm.
Coming off two good wins. You've got Joshua. He's having some good form back. And the belts are tied up anyway, aren't they? You got the rematch for Tyson Usyk, so it's not going anywhere. So this belt, I think it's a genuine world title fight.
Mm.
Definitely, I think the winner deserves to be a world champion. So I don't see an issue with it. Because
Yeah,
look, if we want to go on them roads, then throw all these belts away and have one.
yeah.
But and let everybody else fight each other. So there's another way of looking at it. But there's 5 or 6 belts. Yeah. So one's available. So it's a good fight, this. So yeah, it's worthy of a world title fight. So the winner deserves to be champion.
Yeah, and we've seen this situation obviously over the years, and also we know that it's difficult not just to maneuver yourself into a position to be undisputed, because this is not unheard of, but it's very rare for any fighter in any weight class to become undisputed. Very difficult to maneuver yourself into that position. But it's not about that situation, it's about all the governing bodies after it kind of keeping everyone sweet. You can't keep everyone happy, and obviously the IBF have been the ones over the years that have been more kind of relentless with, right, well, unless you're going to defend at a certain period or you're going to have this fight after that, we're going to strip you. They've done this in the past, but with 4 belts, like you said, these issues are going to happen. There's nothing you can do about that.
No, it happens, and the IBF, I've done it before. You know, there's no leniency with them. They're just rigid. So you either do what they want or defend against their mandatory. And if you can't for whatever reason, because you've gone in a contract for a rematch clause, then you get stripped. So that's the bottom line. Which comes down to this: should there be rematch clauses? No. Have a fight, lose, win, and let somebody else have a go. So I don't like the rematch clauses.
Yeah, I mean that's an ongoing argument in terms of sometimes it warrants a
Yeah.
rematch. We do want to see it, but other times as well, it protects the champion, it protects the losing fighter, etc. For them,
Protects the wallet. It protects the promoter's wallet as well, I suppose. So it's all that involved in it, isn't it? So I listen. I'm a firm believer. You know, one fight should be enough, and then earn your stripes and get back up there and have another shot at it. But everybody should have a go. These rematches and trilogies and all this bollocks. You know, for me, who's interested in that?
yeah.
Why are you laughing, Cougar?
I'm laughing because sometimes it's benefited us because we've seen great fights off the back of rematches and even trilogies. But I do get your point about.
I'm not saying that these fights shouldn't happen again, but if you're good enough, you can fight your way back and you know, beat a few opponents and get back in there.
Yeah.
So, but when you've had a fight for a world championship or any world championship and you've lost, you shouldn't be straight back into it. You should be able to let somebody else have a go.
Yeah. But also, there's the argument that if you do have a fight without rematch clause, and there's that much public interest for a rematch, then the promoters will get together and do it anyway.
Of course they will. If the interest is there and people want to see that rematch, then I understand. But it also prevents a lot of other fighters from getting in there and having a go as well. It ties things up. So I can see both ends of it actually. But for me, you know, have the fight and be done with it.
Um, Turkey Al Sheikh from Saudi Arabia obviously is. I don't know if you saw this interview, Peter. He went on Talk Sport recently, talking about kind of AJ and the Dubois fight, which is obviously next week, and then talking about Fury and Usyk. And interestingly, he said that regardless of what happens with Fury and Usyk, that he still, if AJ beats Dubois, he will look to make an offer for AJ to fight Tyson Fury. This fight is the most talked about subject in boxing, AJ and Fury, for the last 7, 8 years. Do you still think we'll see that fight at some point, Peter, or not?
Um, listen, it's up to them. You know what I think is irrelevant. But if he wants to put it on, and they're both up for fighting, then they're going to do it. You know, so I think for me, if Tyson comes unstuck in the rematch, and the kind of money he's got, what does he need it for? So it's one of them as well. So it's entirely up to him what he does with it.
For boxing fans out there, if we don't see AJ and Fury now, this kind of period of our life and boxing, it would be a bit of a shame because that has been the most talked about fight in this country, as in England.
I think you can never win with fights, can you? Because if that happens and say AJ won, they'd say, "Oh, he's not as good as what he was. If it had been a few years ago, we'd have seen a different outcome." There's always arguments, isn't there? And if if it's the shoes on the other foot, if Tyson beats him, then they'll say the same thing about AJ. So there's always everything's open ended in boxing, isn't it? Everybody's got an argument to say, just like we're on about now, these rematch clauses. There's an argument for and against, but for me, you know, it doesn't matter. Look, if there's on a business sense, it makes sense, but on a sense where You know, if you don't need the money, you've done everything you can in boxing, and the interest isn't there, then you know, money's not everything. There's that side to it as well.
Well, we're in September now. Obviously, there's 3.5 months, sorry, left in the year. But any fights that you're particularly looking forward to? BETERBIEV and BIVOL, you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that fight. That's a good fight I want to see. Yeah, that's a great fight, isn't it?
Hmm.
What other fights is happening, Kugan? This show with AJ and DUBOIS over here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he had one in America before that, didn't he?
Hmm.
So they are happening everywhere, aren't they? Not just over in Saudi.
Absolutely. But I think,
Listen, they've got money to chuck away, haven't they? So they've got all these billions or whatever. So it doesn't matter to them, does it?
yeah, and I think part of the argument was, oh, all these fights are happening in Saudi. And then, to be honest with you, we're going to probably have 96,000 at Wembley next week for a show here. So they're kind of ticking all
Well,
boxes in
but
America.
I think they recognise that, and that's why they're putting shows on over here and the likes of the United States.
Yeah, 100%.
So obviously they can see that. But listen, money don't really matter to them, does it? You know, they've got it to really burn, so to speak. So they can put shows on anywhere. But let's look at the positives again. Because the money's there, we're seeing all these fights.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in boxing are very greedy, aren't they? They love money and they want tons of it. So the fights are happening. So they, you know, name your price, and it's just, yeah, get over there and get fighting. So everybody's doing it, aren't they? So in that respect, it's good. It's working.
Absolutely. Listen, as fans, as long as we see the fights we want, and as
Yeah,
kind of,
listen, the business is irrelevant. I hate business in boxing anyway, so I don't even touch it. But basically, the thing is, it's good to see the fights, definitely. So it's a plus.
you hate the business, yeah?
I hate the business side of it, yeah.
We've delved on this in the past, and you've been experienced enough to have dealt with enough people in boxing to know that that's the case sometimes.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is. People's got to do what they got to do. It takes all kinds, doesn't it? So we are where we are with it. But business for me in boxing, it's a no-no. I'm glad I'm just a tin pot trainer, yeah, a spit bucket man, assisting the fighter to get in there, and I can just watch the fight. I ain't interested in anything else. I'm interested in the fight itself. Apart from that, Kugan, I've got not a lot of interest in any of it.
Basically, don't give a shit either way.
And I don't give a shit now. That's it. I love boxing, and that's where it starts and ends for me. The rest of it, all of the politics, all the shit that goes with it, that's the downside.
Okay. Well, look, Peter, we'll probably catch up with you nearer Hughie's fight, which is approaching 2 weeks on Saturday.
Yeah.
Is it Friday or Saturday's fight?
I think it's Friday, 27th
Friday, yeah,
on a Friday. So
Friday.
it's on a Friday. And yeah. And it's the same with Hughie, you know, if he's going to go on and fight any names he thinks he's going to fight, then he needs to start bowling people over, knocking them out.
Yeah.
So that's what he needs to do. That's what we want to see, and that's it. So it's one of them old sayings, you know, get outside on the car park and put up or fucking shut up. So that's where we are, Coogan. One of them.
One of them. One of them.
It is, yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to see. I'm looking forward to seeing the fighters coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing Joshua Dubois, sorry, and the Bivol fight. What other good fights is coming on?
I think that the whole fight card between now, or the fight card, sorry, between now and December haven't all been announced. I mean, we've got some. Obviously, we've got AJ-DUBOIS, like you said. We've got BETERBIEV BIVOL. We've got FURY-USYK rematch. But I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to come in between this, in between all these fights that we're going to learn very shortly.
Yeah, it's exciting times. And Big Bacoli, he had a good win, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could be a problem in that division.
Why not? 20 stone, big heavyweight, big tough guy as well, and throws a lot of punches. So, yeah, he's all right, Big Martin. Good fighter.
Yeah, I thought it was a bold move by Anderson to take that fight and Gerald Anderson to take that fight beforehand, and but I kind of applauded it and thought, all right, but there's going to be a lot of heavyweights out there thinking, unless I'm getting paid, then I'm probably going to avoid this guy, Bacoli.
Well, this is what you get in boxing, but the good thing is now, I think Bacoli will get the big fights.
Mm.
I think he deserves the big fights because he's gone over there. He's fought Jared Anderson, who was a top young prospect, and and he's gone through that test for flying colours. So why would he not? Why would he not be in? He deserves to fight all of the top fighters
Mm.
because we want to see who the best is. And listen. When Bacoli's in a fight, you sit up and pay attention because he's going to be in a good fight, isn't he? It's
Absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah.
So that's it. So he's he deserves it. And pleased for Billy as well. So it's all good.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for your time. And no doubt, like I said, we'll catch up in Sheffield that week prior to Hughie's fight. Have you got anything else you want to add, mate?
I just wonder when we're all finished with boxing, how long it will be before we're forgotten and nobody will remember us ever again. I just wonder what happens when we're no longer relevant, yeah, and we become highly irrelevant very, very quick. What did he say about today's news, tomorrow's toilet roll?
Fish and chip paper.
Fish and chip paper. Mind you, them fish and chips did taste better than that paper, didn't they?
I think we've seen it over the years. I think some fighters have managed to kind of keep relevant with media activities, and so they're still spoken about and their views are still taken. Like you look at like Tony Bellew, Cole Froch, these guys who've retired for years now. 7. Cole Froch's been retired 10 years.
I'll tell you what,
But,
that's gone quick as well. It only seems like it
yeah,
wasn't here since he was boxing.
but
But they deserve to be in the spotlight because
they
of
do. You're right. I
their
agree.
achievements and what they've done. And,
But look at James Gal, Peter. Literally went off the grid after that Eubank loss. And I
yeah,
think
nobody speaks of him and what a
did a
good fighter he
podcast
was.
with George Groves recently after what, 5 years, 6 years? First time?
George Groves, another top fighter.
Yeah.
Hmm. But people's getting on with their lives, aren't they, I suppose? Look at the prime example of Joe Calzaghe, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's one of the best fighters that graced these shores.
Yeah.
And, he's obviously very happy doing these things with his family, and the man's happy, isn't he?
Yeah. Some people just want to be left alone, I suppose, as well.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to carry on walking the dog.
Walking the dog and having a glass of red wine, a Malbec every now and again.
Yeah, maybe the odd bottle, to be fair with you, because a glass ain't going to do much. So I'll probably do the odd bottle and reminisce, yeah. Keep well away from phones. I think when I'm out of this boxing, I'm going to delete all the social media completely.
I don't think you will. I think you like.
I think when I get a few drinks, I'll go on it and put the world to rights. I'll say, "Oh, you motherfuckers, you forgot me." Oh dear.
All right. Well, listen. Next time I see you, it will be in person. I will be up in Sheffield that week. So
Yeah, it'd be good to see you. And
we'll have a
when
catch
you're
up.
back in, come up and we'll have a bottle of wine apiece. We won't share a bottle. We'll have one each.
You know what? I've never drunk a glass of wine in my life. How about that?
Have you not?
No, I've never tried wine. Never tried red, white. No, never.
I'm not. So I don't really drink the white, but I like the red.
I'll have a glass. I'll try it. I'll have a sip of it, but I don't think it's going to be for me. I think I would have drunk it now at 43.
Yeah.
But
what's your drink, Kugan? You like spirits, do you?
not really. What? I don't really have a massive like drink array that I have. I don't drink beer. I don't drink whiskey. There's a lot more drinks I don't drink. Trust me. But maybe I'll sip a glass of red wine with you. Maybe.
Just picture this: you sit down, quiet room, having your sips of your red wine, listening to the clock ticking with that big dong on the bottom where it goes ding, you know, up and down. Yeah. Very soothing, yeah. Bit of classical music, nice red wine, and you can go in your own space. Peace.
All right. I'm not going to say I'm definitely going to try it, but we'll at least talk about it.
Listen, I'll get you a good bottle of red wine that doesn't taste like vinegar and gives you an hangover. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
Then you'll be right with it.
All right. 2 weeks Sheffield. I'll prepare myself.
No point in Sheffield. I ain't going to bring no wine there. I'll tell you what I'll be doing there. Yeah. Getting the fight, getting in the car coming home.
All right. We'll do it round yours then. We'll do it round
Yeah,
yours.
you'll have to come round mine and we'll have a drink, no problem. Kugan, good speaking with you.
Thank you very much, Peter Fury, and we'll definitely catch up with you at the end of the month for Hughie's fight.
That'll do. Look forward to seeing you.
Top man.